Every morning, the busy city of Abuja came alive with people chasing their dreams. Outside a luxury shopping plaza, an elderly man named Malam Musa quietly sat alone. Dressed in a clean but one white agbada, he watched thousands of people walk past him. Most people believed he was poor, lonely, and had nothing left in life. Some ignored him completely, while others looked away without saying a word. But not a single person stopped to ask if he was all right. One rainy afternoon, a young fashion designer named Amara noticed him struggling to stand. Without thinking twice, she rushed over and gently offered him her hand. "Sir, are you all right?" she asked with a warm and caring smile. The old man looked at her with surprise, grateful that someone had finally stopped. "I'm fine, my daughter," he replied softly. "These old legs move a little slower now." Amara smiled and carefully helped him stand on his feet. She slowly guided him across the busy road while traffic patiently waited. After making sure he was safe, she bought him a warm meal from a nearby restaurant. She handed him the food with a gentle smile. Malam Musa accepted it with grateful eyes. "May God bless you, my daughter," he said sincerely. From that day on, helping him became part of Amara's daily routine. Every morning before work, she stopped by the same bench to spend a few moments with him. Sometimes she brought breakfast, and other times they simply sat together, talking and laughing like old friends. As the days passed, every conversation with Malam Musa left Amara feeling wiser than before. He shared stories about life, patience, and the importance of treating every person with dignity. One morning he smiled and said, "Never judge people by what they wear. The greatest treasures are often hidden inside ordinary packages." Amara listened carefully, knowing his words carried a deeper meaning. She never asked him for money or questioned who she really was. To her, he was simply an elderly man who deserved kindness and respect. Meanwhile, life became more difficult for Amara. Customers began canceling their orders. Some weeks passed without enough work to pay her bills. Many evenings, she closed her little fashion shop without making a single sale. Still, every morning she returned to the same bench with the same warm smile. Nothing could stop her from showing kindness. One afternoon, one of her friends noticed her sitting beside the old man. The friend laughed and said, "Amara, why do you keep wasting your time with him? He can't even help himself. How do you expect someone like him to help you?" Amara simply smiled. She looked at her friend and replied gently, "Kindness doesn't need a reason." Her friend shook her head in disbelief and walked away. But Amara never allowed anyone's opinion to change the kind person she had always been. Unknown to everyone around her, every act of kindness was quietly being noticed, and soon everything was about to change. Unknown to everyone, Malam Musa was hiding a life-changing secret. Years earlier, he had built one of Nigeria's largest real estate companies. He was admired by many and respected across the country. But after losing his beloved wife, wealth no longer brought him happiness. Instead of living in luxury, he chose to leave everything behind for a while. He dressed in simple, worn clothes and quietly sat among ordinary people. He wanted to know if genuine kindness still existed in the world. Day after day, people walked past him. Some ignored him completely. Some insulted him because of his appearance. Others chased him away as though he had no value. Yet through it all, one person never changed. Amara greeted him with the same smile every morning. She never expected money. She never asked for favors. She never tried to discover who he really was. She simply cared for him because she believed every human being deserved compassion. Every visit convinced Malam Musa that her kindness was sincere. He admired her humble heart more with each passing day. Even when her own life became more difficult, she continued helping him without complaint. One peaceful morning, they sat together, sharing another heartfelt conversation. Malam Musa looked at Amara with quiet pride. Deep inside, he knew she had passed every test without even realizing it. A gentle smile crossed his face as he made an important decision. The time had finally come to reward the kindness she had shown. But Amara still had no idea that her life was about to change forever. The next morning, Before they parted, Malam Musa looked at her and smiled warmly. "Keep being the wonderful person you are, my daughter," he said softly. Amara smiled back. "I will, Malam Musa." She waved goodbye, believing she would see him again the following day. She had no idea it would be the last time she would see him sitting on that familiar bench. The following morning, Amara arrived at the shopping plaza with a warm breakfast, just as she always did. But something felt different. The familiar wooden bench was empty. She looked around, expecting Malam Musa to appear with his gentle smile and wooden cane. He was nowhere to be seen. She waited for several minutes, hoping he was simply running late. But he never came. The next morning, she returned again. Once more, the bench remained empty. Days slowly turned into weeks. Weeks quietly became months. Still, Amara never stopped thinking about him. She often wondered if he was safe. She hoped someone was taking care of him. Sometimes, before opening her fashion shop, she would stop by the empty bench and whisper a small prayer for him. Although life continued, she never forgot the elderly man who had filled her heart with wisdom. Then, one quiet morning, while arranging dresses inside her small fashion shop, she heard the sound of a vehicle stopping outside. She looked through the window. A sleek black luxury SUV had pulled up in front of her shop. The door opened. Several professionally dressed men stepped out. They walked confidently towards her. The man leading the group smiled politely. "Good morning. Are you Miss Amara?" Her heart began to race. "Yes, I am." The gentleman nodded respectfully. "Our chairman has been waiting for you." Confused, Amara looked around. "For me?" "Yes," he replied with a smile. "He specifically requested that we bring you to him." Not knowing what awaited her, Amara locked her shop, picked up her handbag, and followed the men towards the waiting SUV. As the door closed behind her, the vehicle pulled away. She had no idea that this journey was about to change her life forever. The black luxury SUV drove through the beautiful streets of Abuja. Amara sat quietly, wondering who the mysterious chairman could be. After several minutes, the vehicle slowed as it approached a magnificent white mansion surrounded by lush gardens and elegant fountains. The grand iron gate slowly opened. The SUV drove into the luxurious estate. Amara looked out the window in complete amazement. She had never seen a place so beautiful. The vehicle stopped in front of the mansion. One of the men stepped out and respectfully opened the door for her. Amara slowly got out, still trying to understand why she had been brought there. She walked towards the grand entrance. The tall double doors slowly opened. She took a few careful steps inside. Suddenly, she froze. Standing before her was Malam Musa, but this time he was completely transformed. Gone were the worn clothes and the wooden cane. Instead, he stood proudly in an elegant white agbada, beautifully embroidered with gold, surrounded by respected business executives. Tears immediately filled Amara's eyes. "Malam Musa?" He smiled warmly. "Yes, my daughter." She could hardly believe what she was seeing. "You? It was you all along?" He nodded gently. "Everything you saw was a test." He slowly walked towards her. "I have spent years searching for one person whose kindness expected nothing in return. You never asked me for money. You never asked who I was. You simply cared enough to ask if I was all right." He looked at her with pride. "That is the kind of heart this world desperately needs." Then he handed her a beautifully wrapped gift box. With trembling hands, Amara slowly untied the ribbon. She carefully opened the box. Inside were the keys and ownership documents to a fully equipped fashion academy. There were also financial documents, giving her everything she needed to build the future she had always dreamed of. Amara burst into tears. She looked up at Malam Musa and whispered, "I only wanted to help you." Malam Musa smiled with tears in his own eyes.
And that is exactly why you deserve all of this.
Amara stood speechless, tears streaming down her face as she held the gift box close to her heart. She looked at Malam Musa with gratitude and whispered, "Thank you. I don't know what to say." Malam Musa smiled gently. "You don't have to say anything, my daughter. Your kindness spoke long before today. You chose compassion when everyone else chose to walk away. And because of that, countless lives will now be changed." Several months later, Amara's dream became a beautiful reality. The Fashion Academy officially opened its doors. Young men and women from different parts of Nigeria arrived with hope in their hearts, eager to learn and build a better future. Bright classrooms were filled with sewing machines. Students worked together, cutting fabrics, drafting patterns, and creating beautiful garments. Laughter and creativity filled every corner of the academy. Amara walked through the classrooms with a proud smile. She remembered the days when she struggled to keep her small fashion shop open. Now she was helping others achieve the dream she once fought for alone. On the Academy's grand opening day, guests, community leaders, students, and instructors gathered to celebrate. Malam Musa stood proudly beside Amara. Looking across the audience, he smiled before sharing one final lesson. The richest people are not those who have the most money. They are the people whose hearts remain generous when no one is watching. The entire hall fell silent. Many people remembered passing the old man outside the shopping plaza without stopping. Some lowered their heads in regret. Others quietly wiped away tears. Amara walked over to Malam Musa once again. Just as she had done on the very first day they met, she gently held his hand. Together, they slowly walked through the academy while hundreds of grateful students applauded with joy. As Amara looked around at the lives being transformed, she realized something she would never forget. The greatest reward for kindness is not wealth. It is knowing that your compassion has given hope to someone else. Because sometimes one small act of kindness can change countless lives forever. So, never judge people by their appearance. Never underestimate the power of a caring heart. And never forget that the good you do today may return to you in ways you never imagined. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes that kindness still exists. Until next time, remember, kindness always finds its way back home.